welcome everybody to Mortal Kraumbat in a new episode with a very special guest. This Ryan. Ryan is one of the men behind EDH Top 16, a web page that all of us uses and abuses because it's the coolest web page that we have that report of the tournament that we have each week around the world, and we daily basically visit the sites to see new technologies, new commanders. So welcome, Ryan. Thank you for accept this interview. So the first is like you can introduce by yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ryan. I run EDH Top 16. I started on the project like almost a year and a half ago. It was a little under-maintained, to say the least. Some of the maintainers like lost some interest in the site. I saw it was like crashing a lot because there was a lot of data coming in that the site didn't necessarily expect at first, like when it was first built, because it was kind of just like thrown together around like even before Silicon Dynasty 1, which was like my first cEDH. I think it was around Silicon Dynasty 1 when it like got started. So I don't know. I'm a big tech guy, so I came in and like really helped them clean up a lot of the site as far as like the data pipelines and the back end, and then like propagated all the work to the front end. So yeah, it's kind of like what and now I just kind of like maintain the site going forward and like fix bugs, add features when I have the time, and respond to support requests and help people get their tournaments on EDH Top 16 accurately.
Okay, so my first question is how you start in Magic the Gathering, or when you start in Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, so I actually started in Magic the Gathering like very recently. I was like pretty bored over COVID, and me and my friends were kind of like looking for something to do, so we started playing Magic. We would actually have like a 3-player draft with like those 10-pack bundles you used to get at Target. We would like go on a draft around like the 3 of us, like 3 packs each from like the 10 packs, and then like we would roll a dice to see who got to start on like the last 10th pack. And that's kind of how we started. Then we would actually do like a 3-player free-for-all from that draft, which is kind of crazy like looking back, but it was a lot of fun because it was just like over COVID. It was like the 3 of us in like a little COVID pod. And then we started like learning more about Magic. We found out about Commander. Started playing Commander altogether, found out about cEDH, and then the first time I actually got like really involved with cEDH was like way back in the day with cEDH.guide, which was like Ken Bauman's old project. They were looking for some developers on the site. I was interested in cEDH, but like didn't play much at the time. But I like offered to help them and get involved, and like I heard about Silicon Dynasty 1 through that, and then went to SD1, played my horrible deck without like a Mox Diamond or a Mana Crypt even. And yeah, that's kind of like how I got into it. That was like my first tournament, like the first EDH tournament I went to. It was fun.
Oh wow! But so you start in EDH. So at some point, you feel that it's not enough for you. It's like you see some cEDH, games from other people, and oh, that's cool. That is more fast. You can do more things. What was the basically the path between both things?
They were actually kind of like disjoint. I don't feel like I ever did like a jump from like casual Commander to cEDH because like we were always playing precons and stuff, and like decks were never really that good for us. We were always playing like, I don't know, like the best deck at the table was like Kalia of the Vast, but not like cEDH like Nas Kalia. Shout out to Bad Dog. No, it was like, drop a demon past the turn kind of Kalia.
Yeah.
And then like I saw on YouTube, like playing with power. And that was always like super cool. And I was like, oh man, that looks sweet, like I'd love to be involved with that. I never really like did the scaling my deck up until it was cEDH. I just kind of like played cEDH. I mean, I played a bad cEDH deck. It wasn't very good. I played like the Clue Pod deck at SD1, and that was like my first cEDH deck. It was horrible, but it was a really good time. But Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like I already knew the rules of Commander and EDH from like my local play group, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of like a whole new game with the same rules, and that's really cool. I mean, that's like one of the things I love about Magic, is you can just play like a lot of different games with the same core rules applied in various like situations. So this was like another instance of that. Same with like Standard.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, and at what point you basically visualize EDH top 16? Why you start this?
I actually didn't start EDH top 16. I came on board after the fact. So I think so Zane from Top Deck was the guy that made EDHtop16.com as just like a very simple tournament aggregator. And only from tournaments on Top Deck at the time. The site was doing okay, and like I knew Zane because he was local to me. He was also in the Bay Area. We started talking about EDH top 16. You know, he was like, it actually started in like I tried to contribute to like the decklist database because I was using the decklist database a lot at the time, and then they didn't accept like my contribution like bug fix pull request. So I was like, man, this sucks. I'm just going to use EDH top 16 now. And then EDH top 16, I was like, oh man, there's a bug I want to fix. I'm going to go fix the bug. And then I found out from Zane that they were like rewriting the site, and like they needed some help because the site, you know, was struggling under this new data load because cEDH was exploding in popularity. So, you know, I jumped in and like helped them rewrite a lot of their stuff and get like proper, you know, database schemas and all of that to make the site performant. I don't know if you guys like remember the old EDH top 16, but it was like pretty slow.
Yeah. I mean, but now we have EDH that is like, I mean, all the people that play cEDH in a competitive way, or maybe not always in a competitive way, but it's like the starting point that you have for find new decks, you know, and because we have now different tools, but EDH 16 is one of the most important because we have each week, at the end of the week, we have all the new tournament reported. And something that we start to notice is that in the recent time, this is more fast, the process. So, for example, I remember like a couple of months ago, you need to wait until Monday, sometime a little more. But now it's like you have already in Saturday, we have already some tournament online to check, you know, the top cut and all the things related. So it's a wonderful tool, and something that for me is very impressive is that you don't have any ad associated. So it's free ad basically.
Yeah, we do run ads sometimes. There's been like a few ads I run for people in the community that like I really trust to like do well by people. I think EDH top 16 is one of those forums that like it's definitely like powerful, and I don't want to like put ads on there that are I don't ever want to do like a Black Lotus jewelry ad or something where like it's it's just like money funneled to somebody else. But there's like people in the community that I like really trust to put out great merchandise that people would legitimately be like super interested in, right? Like Evan Pierce's playmats, Doot Loot, for example, like all that kind of stuff where I can spotlight other cEDH creators and like people in the community doing really good work. I will very specially run ads for that one.
And that is unique because I imagine that the traffic on the website is not minor. I mean, I don't know if you have the numbers of that, but I imagine that it's a good amount.
It's pretty large. I think we get around like 40,000 monthly active visitors.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's quite a good amount. That's also one of the things I'm like weird about running ads on such a big site. Like the site definitely costs money to run, so like you know, an ad here or there definitely like pitches in, as well as like Top Deck contributes as well to the hosting costs. So yeah, but I try to keep the ads like very minimal and very targeted as well. For example, like if there's like Frog Thrust playmat, I'll only show that on like the Rog Thrust page, for example.
Yeah, and that is something that it makes this community very unique Like the thing that you mentioned is like it's not anymore a small community. I believe that is large because we have cEDH in each country, more or less, and that kind of thing that you describe is like it like keep the connection between the people and foster the community and that is very very cool. So right now because we talk a little when I contact you for the interview that you still play cEDH but less than previous. Like you are not playing a lot.
I'll play like locals every week or so.
Okay.
I'll play with my friends like a bunch, but I've mostly like stopped entering tournaments, and I've definitely stopped traveling for tournaments.
Okay, but it's something that you don't miss it, or it's something that you eventually you will come back to the grinding.
Yeah, so there are a couple of reasons I like stopped playing in tournaments as much. First of all, I got a real job. Yeah, back in 2024, I had a lot of time on my hands. Not that I didn't have a real job, but I was like, work was like pretty chill, pretty low key, so I could like afford to like take a bunch of time off and like travel for events and like really put my heart and soul into competing and optimizing deck lists and everything. Now this year it's been a little harder for me to like carve out the time for that, and like one of my opinions is like if I'm doing something and like going fully in, I want to commit really hard to being the best at like that thing. So it's harder for me to just like casually enter tournaments. I still love to play with people casually, but just like the random tournament drive-by tournament is hard. And the West Coast generally also has less tournaments too, so it's like harder to stay up to date as like the Ohio guys who are just like crushing it.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, so you keep playing. So what is your favorite commander?
RogSi. I love RogSi.
Oh. Yeah, and because it's RogSi is like it's weird because it's like a lot of the people that was the best players of RogSi step down. It's like they are not playing so much tournaments, and we have that like it's like the last year was very exciting because we see all those RogSi taking the tournament, and then we have the bans. So and RogSi is a little like not best performing right now. So what is your opinion in general? It's like you believe that it's because people is the meta, or is because the best people that play in RogSi, the best pilot, are not grinding anymore? Or
I think it's a little bit of that and a little bit of something else. So there was a cabal, you could say, of RogSi players that played a lot in the last top deck season that haven't been playing as much, myself included. So that definitely contributes to a lot of less results. A lot of the people that like top tournaments last year with RogSi are no longer playing, like myself included, and like Brian Koval, for example. Like we're just not playing as much anymore, like in tournaments. And I actually think the meta is like very good for RogSi right now.
Yeah.
Except there's like a big perception problem where everybody's playing kind of crappy decks right now. Shout out to Rogthras. So they can all point at one person at the table and be like, they're definitely the problem. It's RogSi. It's the turbo deck. We have to like hard target him, save your interaction, and then blue farm wins.
Yes.
It's a perception problem as much as, I mean, that's always kind of been the case, but then, you have the one button, just like, I'm going to cast Dockside. What are you going to do about it? But you don't really have that anymore, so you definitely have to navigate that perception a lot. It's harder. I think there's adaptations that RogSi pilots could make that they're not necessarily making. But overall, I still think they're doing like a very good job of experimenting with new tech and honestly like doing well in tournaments. A lot of the RogSi players are like super new and doing really well with that. So very proud of them.
Yeah. I mean, I am agreeing with you. So right now, turbo strategies are back, because we have all these decks, Cradle Center, that are slow, are not fast strategies. So basically, RogSi can win easily, but as you say, the problem is that in the moment that you sit on the table starts to point them.
Yeah.
So
Picture
that's the
that.
way. Yeah, and I do the same if I am against a RogSi. Just open a window from me, but I believe that is like a little too much. So the people do not understand when to stop. It's like, okay, you already stopped RogSi. You cannot do anymore. So basically move to the next one and start to be worried about Rock Crash, for example. So,
Yeah.
so that is weird. So something interesting is like I have been playing Kefka in this recent time, but my version of Kefka is like RogSi, but with Kefka,
Yeah.
it's turbo one because it's basically go fast, and if it fails, you just cast Kefka, you start to draw cards and things like that. But and that is what you say. Turbo is in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I think it's good. People should play Turbo. More people should play Turbo. And I think the Turbo players that are playing Blue should play maybe more Flash enablers. I think it's time for Leyline of Anticipation to come back and just like really win on top of people. That's my hot take for the interview.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Flash enables are everything. So for me, always is weird that the people in Turbo shows start to cutting out for some negation, because it's weird because they replace force of negation for misdirection, but that is only supporting the plan, that win in your turn. But you as a turbo deck, you want to probably win a lot of times as instant speed with a flash enable. So it's weird. The people that cut font. Yeah.
Did I play Force of Negation at PNV last year? I didn't. I'm a hypocrite.
You got it. Okay.
That was a different time. PNV last year was a different time. We were playing like Goblin Welder.
Yeah, that RogSi. Yeah.
That was like the most fun RogSi list. That was a good time.
I mean, what that time with Kavala and all the RogSi players was very fun. That every single week we saw the list and we saw one spicy new card that we always, think about. I mean, that is for real, or is because basically it's like something that they have, like joke internally that I can put any card and it's gonna work anywhere. Is that? Or because we saw Ristic Tutor, we saw many things that was very weird. So we always wonder what happened over there.
Ristic Tutor was like a really big meme, but then people played it and were like, wow, nobody can pay like nobody can pay for this.
No, I mean, nobody paid the Ristic. Who's gonna pay that?
Yeah, it started as a meme, but then people like bought into it. There was also, there were some missteps of cards that we tried out that didn't pan out too well. Like Apple of Eden was not.
Yeah, that was another spicy pitch that we saw one weekend. Yeah,
that one didn't work out well. Transmute Artifact we tried for a while. That didn't work out. I'm still a Leyline of Anticipation believer though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I start with the Leyline. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah,
it's so good. Turn 0 Leyline, turn 1 Necro, you basically win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you're playing RogSi, but you have other decks that you like?
I've tried playing some other decks for a bit. I played Grixis Pirates for a while, which was pretty fun. I played like a very spicy Reanimator Grixis Pirates. I had like Valgavoth in the deck and stuff.
Okay.
That was fun for a while. I tried new Rogthrast and I really didn't like it. Because I played Rogthrast like way back in the day. I was like one of the first people to like top a tournament on the not poly Rogthras builds back at SD2.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that deck, and I tried like, you know, Cradle Storm Rogthras. I wasn't a fan. I always just keep coming back to RogSi. It's always just the most fun thing to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is the thing, is like the adrenaline behind Turbo. It's like, but also it's like Turbo is not like, make silly plays. It's like people that really play well Turbo. It's like they know everything that they are doing, so they need to do mulligans pretty well, because usually you make basically you go very deep in the moods. And the other thing is they are very good identifying the windows, because if not, there's like you just look at each game. So
I think that's like the big thing with Turbo is not that you have to win early. Like playing a deck capable of winning on turn 1 and turn 2, it just gives you more options in the game compared to a deck that can only win on like turn 3, 4 plus. Like you just have a lot more optionality in the game, and that just gives you agency as a player. And I think that's what I really enjoy about Turbo. Like,
that's a good take, because the people usually thinks the opposite. It's like the windows for Turbo are in the early, and then it's like they don't have the windows anymore.
I think the people that think that have never played like a 80-minute stacks game just to like end step Tainted Pack and then main phase Oracle.
yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. So, and respecting to the meta, because basically right now we are in a people say that in a mid-range scale, a lot of draw engines and things like that. What are your thoughts about it? It's like you miss RogSi, you believe that this is the consequence of wrong banned card, or you believe that is basically is need to adjust? Is basically that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I will say I think the September bannings were like probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever seen executed. Not only from like the actual announcement, but from like the communication, the reasoning. I think a lot of it was like very, very flawed down to the core, and like removing Mana Crypt and Dockside and Jewel Lotus from the format are just like, I don't think that's the direction I want to see cEDH go. Nadu can get fucked though. I hated them too. Nadu was super annoying. Totally agree with the Nadu ban, but like removing like a lot of like the very key format staples, just like it felt bad. And I think people saw removing Turbo pieces from the meta kind of caused like a very deep swing into not Turbo. People were just like, okay, we basically have permission to just like grind out for like 12 turns and see who wins. So more so than they needed to, people really swung into the I'm only going to sit on a Ristic meta. And that is finally changing a little bit. Like people are realizing like Turbo isn't actually dead. Like I can still play this very effectively into this meta right now. Which is totally true. Like removing the Turbo pieces is really unfortunate and it does suck. But it doesn't mean that it's dead. And like without a critical mass of Turbo players like in each pod kind of asking the question, do you have it? Everybody was eventually given enough time to like have answers to everything. And that's kind of where the draw meta comes from. But I think it's shifting a little bit. I mean, like top deck Envy this year was pretty bad. That was insane.
yeah. I mean, but it was like a little. It's like a bubble right now.
Yeah,
because
it's showing like the really nasty side of cEDH, and specifically, I think like Ristic Study and Smothering Tithe. like plus flash enablers, like that's allowing, multiple people to get that kind of stuff set up really kind of forces you into this like, oh, I guess nobody can win situation, which is okay. Like that's a natural result of a 4-player game. But when you don't really have anybody pushing and like forcing the question, you just kind of get people sitting waiting for something to happen and nothing ever does really, and you get the draw situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I read that the other day related to the things that we observate in the past few months. So one thing is what the politics has been, I don't know, fining, or I don't know. It's like you watch games that I don't know. They talk about every aspect of the game, and that is, I don't know, is something that the players move in that direction because you let them do it, or is because they start to understand that maybe in that way they can obtain better results for sure. But has been something that we start to observe more and more. And I don't know, what are your opinions about it?
I have 2 pieces of advice for people that get stuck in pods like that. The first one is it's totally okay to lie in cEDH. Like, like it's fine. Nobody's gonna call a judge on you, and you shouldn't have your opponent's best interest in mind. Like, it's fine to lie. It's okay. Like
that's a controversial one because a lot of people say no, it's not cool to lie.
I mean, people like walk right up to the line of lying to the point where they're just like obviously like spinning a tale and leaving out one key piece of information to try to like deceive you and trick you. And I just don't think it's that much further than lying. Like if you're gonna say like, oh, I have this in my hand, but it doesn't apply to this, it's like just lie, man. Like, you could spend 5 minutes trying to like say everything but the card in your hand. Just lie. The other thing that I think people don't really do enough is, especially the active player, is ask people if they pass priority. One thing that I really like to do in cEDH games is like there's often this like ambiguous thing like, oh, I put the spell in the stack, and then there's like a large conversation around it. I just point at people and I'm like, do you pass priority right now?
Yes.
No, I mean, I don't say right now, but I'm like, do you pass priority? Also
that is true. I mean, I do a lot, and I believe that is the best way to do. It's like you need to take actions. But in those games that we saw this, a lot of jab, nobody say that. So I don't know, if it's something related with the personality of the people. It's like, and with a judge there in the table, seeing all the situation. So that is something very odd to see. I don't know what happened there.
We gotta get more slow play warnings. That's my opinion on that one.
Yes.
Like in rounds, I think like it's a very okay thing to do to like ask people like, do you pass priority? Do you pass priority? Do you pass priority? Okay, the spell resolves. But like that doesn't work as well with like top pods where they're like really trying to negotiate over things. And I think that's where judges need to step in a little more and be like, okay, please take a game action. Like people are crazy. They're like really stretching the rules.
Yeah, that is something very. It's like they find the like the trick, and they just exploit it.
Exactly.
And that is cool about Turbo, because in Turbo decks you don't have any of this. Basically, it's like if they win fast, what can say? Nobody can say it. So that is very cool.
Yeah. I miss that. Like I miss just putting a dockside on the stack and being like, "Do you pass priority?" That was always a really fun question.
Yeah.
But
we miss dockside for sure.
I think like individual players just need to be more assertive and more confident in like their ability to politic at the table, and like not like there's usually someone with an agenda that's like really forcing this discussion. Just don't get sucked into it. Oh, and call judges. But I guess like if the judge won't enforce slow play, who cares?
Yeah. So, and the other thing that you mentioned is like the people start to realize, okay, we can again play these fast decks, and something that I start to see in the different decks and lists that I see each week in EDH top 16 is that the people started cutting out Mirror Maid and Copy Enchantment. So we have a period of time that all the deck have Copy Enchantment, Mirror Maid, a Copy Artifact. So everything. So now we start to see many decks take it out, and that is very interesting.
Yeah, so I tried like Mirror Maid way back before the bans in like Rogthrast, because I was like, man, Ristic Study goes crazy in this deck in Teamer, because you have like very few other ways to actually like aggressively draw other than like Thrasios, which is kind of bad at it, like relative to Ristic Study. I always found that the mana cost was like a little too high. One card I am like kind of plus on recently though is Steel Enchantment. I'm actually kind of blue without like the extra 2 is like just the right mana cost, and getting a Smothering Tithe and RogSi is crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I don't know. I mean, Smothering Tithe is a weird card. It's like the people have the counter, and they don't counter Smothering Tithe. I don't know. I always see that the people that cast that and resolve win the games. I don't know why the people is like, oh, okay, pass. And it's super weird, because the advantage is brutal. Is very brutal.
Yeah, not enough people treat Smothering Tithe as seriously as they should. Like Smothering Tithe, if you consider like a lot of decks like that are very popular right now, Smothering Tithe is often better than Ristic Study. Like resolving a super early Smothering Tithe is just like, it's backbreaking. They basically won the game. It's like, why are we even playing anymore? Like if Blue Farm actually gets their Smothering Tithe down, like turn 1 or 2, it's just like you might as well go home.
Yeah, definitely. But now we're seeing that the people is starting to cut it out, all the things to copy that. So maybe it's because they don't want. It's basically they want to go a little fast. So basically, introduce more of this copy effect. It's just waiting that more restricting table, more triggers, so longer games.
Yeah, the copy effects are very okay. They're like more expensive than Steel Enchantment, and they also like go equal. Like if I have a Smothering Tithe, I definitely don't want Blue Farm to also have a Smothering Tithe. So that's kind of like why I'm a little higher in Steel Enchantment. It's not like it's just a +1. It's a net. It's like +1 and -1, so it's kind of like net 2 for less mana. It is a higher target like threat, but like I don't know. It's RogSi.
yeah, definitely. And the other thing that we start to see is that the people removing, removal. It's like removal. Basically, you start to see a lot of, into the flood that kind of things, like these bounce effects. But the people start to remove.
I've always been mid on Flood Maw. I'm not a big Flood Maw believer. I think it just doesn't. It's okay. Like the nice thing about like Chain is you can use it to also win. Like the 1 mana bounce thing is just very like, for me it's underwhelming, and I was never playing it. Also like we can't even. It's also opponents, and like the nice thing about like Chain and stuff, and like even Snapback was like you always like. Well, I don't know Snapback, but like Snap was you could always bounce your own dockside, and that was always huge. And without that as much anymore, it's like, I think the bounce effects are a little worse.
Yeah, but something that in the decks is like the people start to even if we have a lot of these decks that run Cradle and things like that, Rock Trust, David Trust and Yoshi Trust, the people started cutting out Toxic Deluge. They are not playing mass removal. So I don't know.
Deluge is crazy.
Yeah, it's the best mass removal that we have.
I think people should be playing that one for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I mean, for example, in Blue Farm, the list that from the last tournament, they cut Sword to Closure. They don't have Toxic Deluge. So basically, they only have bounce spells like Snapback. Into the Floodma, they do have obviously Chain, Rift, and Orim Chant. So they are starting to run Orim Chant. So basically it's like they want to go fast and try to win fast. So it's more like the Tremnek list of Blue Farm, but it's with a little more, modification. So some of them are starting to run into Last Chance also. So it's a second extra turn. So so I like that, but it's like, I don't know. It's like the people say, okay, so mass removal is out of date. So we don't want to run that anymore. We want win.
Yeah. I mean, like RogSi never ran that. The one thing I've always been on in RogSi that I feel like I've gotten criticism from other RogSi pilots is Deadly Relic. I'm a big Deadly Relic believer. I think it's really good.
It's super good. So, yeah, but also it's like it's very fun because in the turbo version of Kefka, you are running Rogue in the 99.
That's funny.
Yeah, because it's basically it's a better ad now. It's like and improve your Mox Amber. It's that kind of thing. So it's very cool. It's very cool. So Ryan, in terms of EDH top 16, you have things like in the schedule to update, to implement, or it's like you are mostly just running the site as it is?
Yeah, so I think the EDH top 16 kind of serves like a dual purpose for me. I really like developing and coding and like playing around with like different technologies. So the site kind of gives me like a really nice playground to do that. Where I'm like, this is like a real project. Like I want to make, for example, like the site faster, like the transitions a little better. So it gives me like, I don't know if you saw that update, but I updated the transitions a bunch and like table state. Like if you use like a table or the list, it persists now. So that's kind of cool. So I've been like doing some like changes like that where I'm experimenting with new technologies. And then also it's like the EDH stats website. And on that front, there's some cool stuff that I want to try out, but I need to like find some time to really sit down and do it. I'm not like a stats person or like a data science guy. I'm very much like a developer who does this for fun as a hobby. Like I'm good with SQL, but I'm not like a true data science person. So it's a little harder for me to like really knock out a lot of those features. But there is some cool stuff I want to do. I want to do like a week in review of cEDH where like people can like look at like week by week, like what were the hot cards, what cards are falling off, what commanders are starting to do well, what commanders are doing worse, and kind of get like a more granular view of like over time what is happening rather than just like the snapshots that the site has right now.
That would be super cool because this guy Datatalk have a web page that do something like that, but he's not updating anymore. So time to time he posts some things on X, and that's cool, but he's not basically updating the web page so we cannot see that kind of data easily. So that will be super cool. The other thing is that you have planned to have like a button to export the things that you are seeing in EDH top 16.
So we don't have an export button or anything like that, but we do have an API, which is pretty powerful, which lets developers kind of like dive into the data behind the scenes and like reuse it on their own projects. For example, learncedh.com, like Evan Pierce Freedom Waffles thing. A lot of like the data powering his site is actually from ours.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. That's another thing that I really like with the site is we're the back end for like a couple of other popular cEDH projects, and it's kind of cool like being the data source for that.
Yeah, definitely. And you have plans to incorporate something like a more, you like the results, but for example, the bot composition, like if this person, wins, four games, but in 3 of them he starts in the 4th seed. So you have plans to incorporate something like that?
That's something I want to do. I actually
wow.
want to also calculate a draw rate per
wow.
event. Like, you know how when you go to commanders, there's like the little stats on the page that are like how many entries, what percent of the meta, what conversion rate. I kind of want a high level view of that for tournaments as well.
Oh, nice.
So like, what was the draw rate? Like, what was the average seat position where like people won? Like, how often did seat 1 win, seat 2 win, seat 3 win? But I need to get the data for that loaded in our database. I currently don't have that.
Yeah,
I've done like a lot of refactoring around our data pipeline recently to make it more resilient and less failure prone. So I just need to like get all of that into the new system.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because it's like we have all this, difference win rate between 3rd seed, 4th seed, and a discussion that nobody, and I don't know, a discussion that nobody wants to address because it's all the people pointed the problem, but nobody wants to, try something different. I didn't see any tournament that is, trying to put some, boundaries, like for the 5th seed, like for example, you don't draw, and different suggestions that you see on the internet. So what does what do you think about it?
I think I don't know, it's like a really hard problem to solve. I don't think like the draw rate is an inherent problem to cEDH. I think it's a result of like player decisions on aggregate and the current ban list. I think the idea to fix the draw rate and like the player win rate that I am the most in favor of is just adjusting the ban list that we use for tournaments. Like if seat 1 gets a crazy draw, like advantage engine out there first, like a Ristic Study or something, or a Mystic Remora, and other people decide to feed that, it's really helping them compared to like if you do that in 4th seed or something. I think adjusting the ban list for tournaments would like probably be the most effective thing that I would really like to see. And I think that would help. It would help the draw rate, and it would also help to smooth like the win rate a lot too. One like weird thing that people thought would happen was like that like the player win rate would actually get smoother over time with the bans. That definitely didn't happen. You actually see like player 1 winning more than ever, and I think that's because there's like less spiky cards. Like Dockside was like the format's best comeback mechanic by far if you were in like seat 4, and lacking that, it's really hard to catch up to player 1 if they have like a really crazy draw like advantage engine. So I think just adjusting the tournament ban list would be the best way to help that problem. Like we've seen that different ban lists in the past had different results for this. I think experimenting that is something that TOs should take into their own hands.
Yeah. That would be very, very interesting. That for that tournament, reset study is banning. So basically, you need to adjust to that and see then the data and see if what happened with the different results. But sure, RogSi was like the guy that controlled the Smothering Tide, the guy that controlled a lot of things, but also allows you to come back to the game.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily like the healthiest card for the game. Was it the most fun? It was like the most fun card, like by far. But I don't agree that it was a net positive. Like it was very fun, but it was like somewhat spiky, unfair. It didn't help people. I think Mana Crypt is a good example of like a safe card that people can like widely agree is like this is like one of those cards that like power spike you, can like catch people up. It can push people forward as well, but you know, like if you take away some of like the more egregious power liars in the game, or like the things that really force draws, you would see a lot of the stats that people care about come back to more realms of normal before the bans in the current meta.
Yeah.
I think Pact of Negation is another one that I think is bannable.
Yeah, I mean, for us here is a little different because we have a special rule related with Pact Negation, so we cannot play it if we cannot pay it. So basically,
really? That's crazy.
Yeah, so basically you cannot show a pact in turn 1 to stop someone because you don't have a way to pay it. So basically we only can play it when we can pay it, and usually in some situations we need to call the judge to evaluate if it's not being making or something like that. So we have that rule for Pact Negation.
What if you're on a Final Fortune turn?
Well, I mean, the thing is that if it's, for example, you have the pack and you have a run upon a win, you can respond to the trigger, the back trigger. So basically, you can win on the stack. So there is ways where you can, I don't know, use this weird new counterspell like Luxius something that you can, counterspell your pack trigger, but you cannot play it if you cannot play it. So
okay, that's interesting.
I mean, it works very well. I mean, because from my perspective as player, I didn't like to show my path in turn 1 and say, okay, we draw. So basically, it's like it's a little unfair. It's unfair for someone that is trying to win. It's like
I've done that. I mean, I usually don't cast it because I'm kind of just like king-making. Like, if I'm in the position that I have a pact and I'm just going to like king-make the next person in line, I just say like, do you want to fight over this? And like show them the pact, and they're like, cast it. And I'm like, okay, I won't. And then they win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you are trying to win and you thought that pact is gonna give you the win, you can cast it for sure. I mean, if you are the guy that is in the win attempt, it's okay. Yeah. You are gonna die for your own trigger. Okay, that's completely fine. We don't allow that from the other players. So that is the difference.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's like kind of one of the reasons I think it's like an acceptable ban, is because if you have a card with variable rules like that, it just looks like a great opportunity. Like, this card is problematic in the meta. Maybe we should just get rid of it.
Yeah. So I'm talking about the bans. It's a lot of people that Sane also already say that he have information about the ban of Tazas and Ristek Study at the end of the year, but I don't know if that is a joke. I don't know what is.
I know nothing about that, but I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Thassa's Oracle doesn't get banned. Thassa's Oracle is one of the best cards to happen for cEDH.
Yeah, I mean, the people that say, okay, that's a need to be banned. I mean, we need that the games end. So basically, that is a good way to end the games.
It's a great way. It's a perfect finisher.
Yeah, and I am completely fine about it. You have a lot of way to interact with the combo. So but Ristic probably is, I mean, I don't like the bans in general, but if it's banned, maybe it's good for the meta. I don't know.
I'd love to see Ristic Study go. I hate Ristic Study.
Okay.
I'd love to see Ristic Study go. I'd love to see Smothering Tithe go, and I'd probably like to see Pact of Negation go. I think those are like some of the more egregious cards, not necessarily like power outliers in the case of like Pact of Negation, but in the when you consider like how tournaments run, those cards pose the most problems in tournaments. And when you're considering like running tournaments smoothly and making sure everybody has a good time and like not getting in these like unwinnable like situations that always end up in draws, those would be my targets. Like, just identify like the key problem makers. And I think it's kind of those three.
Yeah. And what do you think about the and what do you think about Timna? Because that is the other thing that a lot of people say, okay, yeah, Timna need to be banned. Because Blue Farm is so powerful, you know. It's like
no, Blue Farm is like not even cast. I mean, they cast Timna, but it's like Blue Farm just plays like the sloppiest pile of like cards that are good in the meta. They play a lot of things that make treasures. They play a lot of things that draw them cards. They play silence effects. They play Boss's Oracle and other combos. It's just kind of like the collection of the best cards in the format. And I think if you ban Timna, we're gonna see like Rabos Crumb do probably fine.
Yeah, definitely. I don't feel that is a problem. But you know, it's like some weeks you have a lot of Blue Farm that win tournaments, so the people focus on that and say, okay, so you know, it's broken. So, but you have other weeks that you have a lot of variety. So you have a lot of different commanders that take tournaments.
Yeah, I don't think any of the partners need to be hit. I think it's mostly like slot piles thrown together. I think if you're going to ban like one commander for being a power outlier, it should probably be Rograk. He's just like, Rograk is so much better than any other commander. Like, Rog puts Timna to shame. But I also don't think Rog is in the realm of bannable. I don't think Timna's in the realm of bannable. If you want to ban a commander and like I have my wish list, I'm putting the money on Atali, but Rog is Rog.
You don't like it, Danny.
I think like it's a fine kind of like single goal deck. It's just like it can make like if you're looking at games that become like unfun, I don't think it's Timna. It's like probably something like Atali where it just like throw something out there and like we'll see what happens. But again, I also don't think Atali's in the realm of like reasonable bans. That's just like a personal wish list item.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, that good. I mean, it's good, but you know, it's not. Oh my God, Atali's winning everything, which is where I think maybe commanders should be looked at. But again, it's like commander bans are like probably my least favorite thing. Like it's more about the 99 and the 98.
Yeah. I believe that we need to. I don't know. I like what the like the community adapt. Create new things and. Instead of banning card and basically force the people to just play other things. With Nadu, the people we have the ban of Nadu. Nadu was very impressive. But we never adapt to that. So basically, it's like it was banned.
I think for me, Nadu was in the realm of bannable in the same way Ristic Study was bannable, where it just causes like a lot of tournament logistic issues because the turns can take so long. And that's where I'm like, maybe we should look into banning things for cEDH. But outside of tournament logistics, if like a card's like unfun, it's like, okay, get over it. And again, that's like, I know I just said like Atali's on my wish list because I find it unfun, but like I realistically don't think it should be banned or anything even close. It's just tournament logistic cards that caused like all of the draws, and like Nadu just kind of fell directly in there.
Okay. So Ryan, so we already have talking about 1 hour. So just as a final question, because you're a RogSi player, what is the most relevant thing that you? Okay, so I will start different. Necropotence is, for me, Necropotence is the best card in the format. I really like Necro.
Okay.
So it's because it's like you never stop to learn about that card. It's like everything is surprise you in a different way. So related to Necropotence, what is the best trick that you know about it? It's like
there's some like rules of thumb that I like to use when I'm playing RogSi. If I'm like playing early rounds in a tournament, so RogSi is a deck about engines. Like you want to land an engine and then use your card advantage, which because of Rograk is mana advantage to win. Necro, you kind of have a choice a lot of the time between like necropotence and Rhystic Study.
Yes.
Early rounds of a tournament, my rule of thumb is Rhystic Study. Later rounds of a tournament, early rounds of a tournament, my rule of thumb is necropotence. Later rounds, Rhystic Study, because like, you know, you're betting on yourself to do well, and you're going to be playing with better players like later in the tournament. So Rhystic Study gives you a little more flexibility, but you know, always use your discretion there. Like, you know, sometimes slamming a necro just wins the game. And then once you land the necro, because necro is like the way more complicated thing. Rhystic Study, you just draw 30 cards and win. Necropotence is a lot harder. But there's kind of like two decision paths that often like present themselves to you. It's like, am I planning on winning next turn, or am I planning on winning this turn? It's hard to plan on winning this turn unless you have two things. You want like to be able to produce one blue pip or two red pips. If you can do that, you're pretty golden once you've landed the necropotence, because then that lets you find either Simian Spirit Guide or Born Upon a Wind, and you can use the Simian Spirit Guide to FF, or you can use the Simian Spirit Guide to cast your Born, or whatever flash enabler you want, usually Otter. So if you have those conditions, just send it with necropotence. Go to like usually 3 life. 3 life is good. Sometimes 5, because like the really core things you have to consider is like once you land your flash enabler, you might need to do something like Vamp Gitaxian Probe, and that costs 4 life, so that'll put you at 1. Nobody plays Lightning Bolt, so don't worry about Lightning Bolt. You kind of worry about Bowmasters, but like, you know, risk you're willing to take. And that's like the you're winning this turn situation. So you need Necropotence already on board, and be able to produce the mana for the Flash Enabler or FF. If you're not winning this turn, just go to 14 cards in hand and discard your hand.
Cool. I mean, that's very neat. I mean, the first thing that you say about that, how you navigate the tournament, because yeah, the first tables are random, so but then you start to be pairing. The first table is random, but the other ones, you know, start to be pairing with other players, and the last ones are, you know, more difficult. So basically, study is better there. So that is cool. Good to hear.
Yeah. Like the scenario I have in my mind is like, I'm doing a turn 1 Besiege. Do I go for Necro or Rhystic?
Yeah.
Early in the tournament, Necro. Later in the tournament, Rhystic.
Yeah, that's so cool from RogSi that you can play turn 1 Besiege. So with a goal in the week, yeah. So that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the really fun part about ROG. If I can give one other unsanctioned RogSi tip, ROG in the graveyard is a good thing. Like if you turn 1 calling ROG, you can put him in the graveyard and you can feel fine about it. Like, unless I'm looking to replay ROG, like very explicitly looking to replay ROG on the next turn, or I can replay ROG the same turn, I will usually just bin ROG, because it'll feed things like, it'll make your breach lines a little easier. Like that one card can make a really big difference. You can Yogg will him back out, and then like J will, and that's super sweet. Or it feeds Demonic Council. So ROG in the graveyard is like usually a pretty good thing for RogSi. So don't be afraid to put him there.
Do you like Demonic Council?
It's insane. It's like one of the best cards in the deck. Like it's Demonic Tutor too. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good, Ryan. Okay, so Ryan, I mean, thank you so much. I mean, it is super cool to interview you. Thank you for being here. You know, like the guy behind EDH Top 16 is super nice. I mean, this is our Bible. You know, it's like it's our cEDH Bible.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We check every weekend, so this interview is gonna be very, very, very unique, but also very appreciated by the community here in Chile. That is like very active, honestly.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. It's really cool that like cEDH is like a very global thing, and it's like starting to be ever more of a global thing too. It's cool because you have like so many different grassroots communities that like kind of form together to like create one like huge community blob. that's like has very sliceable, distinct parts that have like totally different cultures. It's cool.
Yeah. So as always, I say to my guests, if one time you are over here and you want to play cEDH, just talk to me, and we can do things. So we can do very, very fun things over here. So
I'll give you a ping. I'll let you tell me if I can cast my Pact of Negation.
You can. You let me. You must let me win. Yeah, that's how it works over here.
I'll give it to you. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. This was super fun. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.